I'm Joyce Hornady. You might say accuracy is my business. I make bullets.
You are listening to the Hornady Podcast.
Thanks for joining us and enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in on this episode of the Hornady Podcast. I'm your host, Seth Swerzik, and today I'm joined around the table a couple of engineering types. We've got a familiar face, familiar voice to the podcast, our custom die engineer, Ben Searing. Ben, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Seth.
And we've got a new engineer, a new face, new voice to the show, but a veteran of the company, project engineer, Tyler Schoening.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, before we dive into today's topic, I'm going to spend just a couple minutes talking about Tyler and why he's on the podcast and kind of what our engineering department looks like. So, Tyler, you started here in 2017, and you came on to start working on our tools, our reloading tools division, and you're a lifelong hunter and shooter. So it's kind of a natural fit to work at Hornady, huh?
Yeah, it was. It was definitely a bit of a dream job coming out of college.
Yeah. So you get here and you start working on reloading tools. And as always, I mean, one of the cornerstones of Hornady manufacturing is innovation. And not just every couple of years we have something cool. It's every single year we are making sometimes out of the park grand slam home runs, or we're making small incremental changes that add up to a better benefit for our customer. We're always innovating, and that's what you're tasked with as an engineer that heads up reloading tools. So throughout your first few years, that's what you spend all your time doing, and you still got some lingering products. But now, what are you engineering on now at Hornady?
So starting in May, I believe, is when we made the change, but I'm transitioning over into the bullets department and learning a lot of new things about what's going on in bullets. I actually, before I got hired on here in 2017, I was actually an intern, which is something that we do a lot of in engineering. Is we like to have interns, and I was an intern in the bullets department, so I was kind of aware of what was going on, but as I'm making this transition, I'm definitely getting a whole lot of information I didn't know about it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot that goes into setting up a press with the draw cycle and how much you can work a jacket and in each step. And then you have to design all the tooling, make sure the press can run the bullet. And there's a lot of mechanical engineering stuff that goes on to make those presses go up and down. But the reason I bring that up is Hornady has a relatively small, in the scope of how successful our company is, relatively small engineering department. I mean, you guys are two of, I don't know what, maybe 20 or something like that.
Yeah, it's a little less than that, I think. But
I always estimate about 15, but I don't have an actual head count.
Yeah, so certainly less than 24 mechanical engineers at Hornady. But what's great is, one, they identify, hey, you're really good at X, Y, or Z, and they let you run with that. But they also shuffle the deck every now and then to get fresh minds and fresh problem-solving skills into each department, and you quickly become an expert on bullet manufacturing or reloading tool design or cartridge case manufacturing or whatever it may be. And I think that's an admirable trait for a company is, one, they shuffle the deck a little bit, and then once that you find like, wow, that guy knocks it out of the park with whatever. For example, Miles, that's been on the podcast. Miles is a bullets guy. He's a good mechanical engineer, and he can do stuff for any different company or project out there. But man, when it comes to bullets, he's awesome. And that's just a cool little peek behind the curtain regarding our engineering department. Now, specifically to the topic today, Get Loaded 2023. There's no better time to stock your reloading bench than right now. So the Get Loaded promotion, guys, we did this before in the early teens, not even the teens, late 2000s, like the 2011, 12, 13 time frame, up until, maybe 2017 or 18. A Get Loaded promotion. What that means, if you buy a qualifying product, we will give you free bullets. Now, there are some exclusions that apply. Alaska, Hawaii, Canada, there's different shipping things there, but for the most part, qualifying product, free bullets. And there's no reason not to take advantage of that, but I feel like there's a good segment of our customers that don't necessarily know that that's a redemption going on right now. So I want you guys we'll talk through what it takes to redeem products and what products are redeemable and then what you get through that. But the reason I've got you guys on the show is the tools that you can buy to get the redemption. A lot of them you guys had either hands in designing or changing or implementing, and I want to get your insight on that. So we're going to start with what it takes to redeem this. So you buy a qualifying product, which we'll go over, and everything's done online now. So you can type it in the Googleizer, Hornady 2023 Get Loaded. There's a landing page on our website, and it's very easy. It'll walk you right through it with your receipt for everything you need to do to get your order in the system for the bullets. That simple. It's, like I said, a no better time to get loaded than right now with the free bullets. So let's start with the first kind of the entry level way into the Get Loaded, which is 100 free bullets. So you buy, I'm going to list the products off here, and you get 100 bullets. It's up to a $46.87 value there, depending on what bullet you select. Pay the shipping, and like I said, between Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii, there's just a slightly increased shipping charge. But the first one is a set of reloading dies. Ben, you buy a set of dies, you get 100 free bullets?
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy when you think about it. You're getting, we've always prided ourselves on quality over quantity, okay? So you're getting a quality, well-made die set, and I believe with the best finish in the industry. You're getting a floating alignment sleeve seating system with all of our dies. That's standard. It doesn't mean it's any match grade. You're getting all that and then free bullets on top of it. So some people might say, well, that's an expensive die set, but knock off up to $46 worth of bullets off that set. You'll pay a little bit of shipping and handling, but all of a sudden it's not very expensive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just a great, great deal. And it's the same. There's no difference in those sets that are qualifying. It's all of the custom dies, all of the match grade dies, and by custom I mean the custom grade.
Yep, the on the shelf
stuff that you can buy, and there's a little label right on them. You'll see the little yellow label that says 100 free bullets. I mean, take advantage of that.
Absolutely,
you're going to get a set for probably $20 or $30 after those bullets if you subtract that, and you've got the start to get loading.
Absolutely, and those internal finishes, like you mentioned, when you're talking about size dies, that is imperative.
Absolutely. It aids so the case doesn't stick. It's a better finish, period. I believe the lube works better. There's not places for it to stick and cause hydraulic dents and things like that. So it's just great. And all of our dies are polished separately. Some of them are even hand polished.
Wow.
So I mean, we have great, and we're designing the SAMI specs, and I'm sure just like all manufacturers, I take a lot of pride when we design that. To assure that they work well and work well for all cartridge cases manufacturers, not just ours.
Right on. And that's custom grade die sets and the match grade die sets. So if you see a set of dies on the shelf, it qualifies for that 100 free bullets. Find the latest shirts, hats, hoodies, and accessories that you see here on the podcast and much more at HornadyGear.com. Now, a couple more products that'll get you qualified for the 100 free bullets. I'm going to kick this over to Tyler. It's the AutoCharge Pro and the M2 digital scale. And years and years, I mean, we're going back into the, again, late 2000s, early teens. We had an AutoCharge. We had a digital bench scale, and they were good products. What did you do to refine those and bring out the AutoCharge Pro and that M2, the version 2 of that digital bench scale?
So first off, I mean, we were dealing with 10-year-old technology when we started the project, and 10-year-old visual design that just aesthetically, it just looked like an old product. So we started with a facelift. We started with an upgraded load cell, updated software. So with that, you got the touch screen. On the AutoCharge, you got a more vertical look. So you're taking up less space on your bench. On the M2 digital scale, you get that same touch screen. It's still about the same footprint as the old one, but you do get that upgraded load cell, and it's got the same load cell as the AutoCharge. And then the AutoCharge programming has also been updated. It's a little bit more user-friendly.
Awesome.
On the old AutoCharge, there were some, I'd like to call them hidden features, where you could play with your trickle time, trickle setting, and just tune in your load better. So on this one, we made those visible, easily found, and
easily adjustable.
Easily adjustable, too. And along with that, we gave it memory.
Oh, perfect.
So I think there's four slots for memory on there. And then we also have a just plug and play, set it on your bench and go setting on it, where it should work for pretty much every powder. It worked for pretty much every powder I tested when I was developing it. The settings are really for the guy who wants to store his load, or he wants to kind of fine tune his precision and speed up his loading process. That's a lot of what those settings are for.
Awesome. Well, in regard to the Auto Charge Pro, having those trickle time and trickle speed settings that are right out there, easy to adjust, like you mentioned, where you can dial it in. I mean, the load cell now has the ability to read just a little bit better accuracy, better resolution than the previous load cell. So now you can really adjust those trickle time and speed, walk things out 1 or 2 kernels at a time until you get exactly what you're looking for. And then with that M2 digital bench scale, you share that same load cell.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So it's trickleable. Some of the older bench scales, you could trickle on them, but they were a little slow to respond. With the new load cell in this scale, obviously the trickling is great for those that I personally, when I reload, like to throw short and trickle up to an exact amount.
Right on.
So that's a great
And
great little feature.
I mean, you're getting the same function as the old bench scale, but you're getting, with the upgraded load cell, you are getting more stability. You were, like I said, dealing with 10-year-old technology, and by changing them too, we ended up with a very good bench scale that is a great product for the money.
Right on.
Yep.
So you upgrade your scales and then get some free bullets on top of that. Again, those are 100 free bullets. And the last product for the 100 free bullet is the Magnum Digital Vibratory Tumbler. This is kind of a what I'm going to call traditional or kind of old school technology. When I first started to reload, Dad had a bright orange Lyman rotary tumbler, just like probably everybody else. I don't know of many others on the market. And he probably bought that in the 80s. And it's kind of that traditional technology. You get the cyclonic and the vibratory action of a media tumbler with traditional corncob media. And if it isn't broke, you don't have to fix it. That will get cases pretty doggone clean.
Yep.
And with the Magnum size, you're holding hundreds of cases. This is a quite a large tumbler.
correct. And you have all kinds of media out there. Yeah, I believe it. You can get the corncob media as a common, but you can get walnut. You can get pretty aggressive media. And then you have all the options. Do we deprime them? Do we not? To help get the inside of the case and the primer pockets clean as well.
Yeah, and that product is something that you walk into our little engineering lab, it's pretty much
Always
constantly
going.
running, and we've got our match shooters out of engineering are back there using it, and
it gets put through the paces.
Yeah.
And it's got a little digital readout. You can select how long you want it to run, from 30 minutes up to 8 hours, I think is the maximum setting. And if you can't get your brass clean in 8 hours of some good media, it's probably not coming clean.
Yeah, it is a bit of an upgrade versus the old plug in, hit the switch, and you just have to remember that it's going.
Yep. I used to put mine, before I had kids, I had it a little reloading area in our garage in this little townhome that we lived in. And there were many times that thing ran all night, and then I walked out to go to work and was like, can't hear that in the house. Yeah. Guess the brass is clean, but a great product. Get you that 100 free bullets. And again, you're paying the $10 shipping on 100 bullets unless you're in Alaska, Hawaii, or Canada, and then it's a $15 shipping charge. But you get your free bullets there. Go to Hornady.com and just look for the Get Loaded promotion. There's a flyer there. Take you to the website, enter your receipt information, enter your shipping information, and you're done dealing. Well, now, changing gears from 100 free bullets for a handful of products, this is really, if you're looking for the best value to get started in reloading, or even if you reload now and you're just looking for more tools, 500 free bullets with the choice of about a dozen different products here. And
And that's like, what, $240 worth of bullets?
$234 worth of bullets,
Yeah,
depending on what bullet you choose.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
When you think about that, you buy a press kit for $600 or $100 and knock 250 off. How many sales do you find like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't.
No, you don't. Not typically anyway. So let's go through kind of what gets you that 500 free bullets. And with any reloader, you have to have a reloading press to get the job done. So we've got a reloading press that'll get you 500 free bullets in about every flavor you can imagine. We're going to start with the most simple, which is a lock and load classic. It doesn't get more simple than that as far as reloading tools, but gosh, I've got several presses, and I do the majority of my reloading still on the lock and load classic.
Yep. That's I think most of my reloading. I call the AP press, which we'll get to in a little bit, the mag dump press.
Yeah.
I run the 308s and the 223s and the
9 mils.
45s, 9 mils, the mag dump stuff. But anything that I want my accuracy out of, which is most of what I do because I'm extremely particular about my loads, is going to be done on the Lock and Load Classic. Now, the 500 free bullets come with the Lock and Load Classic kit.
Yep.
That's kind of everything. Let's say I'm new to reloading or I just kind of want to start over. This is kind of everything you need. You're going to have your press in there. You're going to have the reloading handbook, which everybody needs to have.
100%.
Absolutely. I still have it, even though I have the Hornady reloading app on the phone and I pay for the subscription. But the book, you have to have that hard copy reference. Yep. You're going to have a trickler. You're going to have a case holder. Yep. You're going to kind of have everything you need to get started other than a die set and some shell holders.
Yep. The shell holders, that's important, goes hand in hand with the die set. And you might need some measuring tools like a set of calipers. But we've got our classic kit and our classic kit deluxe, which really puts it into the next level. You get your measurement tools, your headspace gauge, overall length gauge.
Yep. It adds the next level to your reloading.
Yep.
All the other things that we talk about when we start to go from just beginning to a little bit more like intermediate reloading. Some of those tools and measurement devices are included with that, including the caliper.
Yep. And then we've also got some kits out there. Now, a lot of these kits, beside our standard kit and our deluxe kit, are exclusives to, say, Bass Pro Shop or Cabela's or Midway USA or something like that. But we've got some classic kits out there, depending on the retailer, that will come with an auto charge, or they'll come with a sonic cleaner, with a case tumbler, or a case prep duo. And all of those kits that you see out there with those various tools, those are going to be qualified for that 500 free bullet as well. So that's all in the classic kit. And then, you mentioned the AP. So we've got the AP press and the ammo plant, which is the AP press plus the rifle and bullet feeder. And that is
a case feeder.
And a case feeder, yep. You get almost ammo production type volume. You're putting out hundreds of loaded rounds per hour with a progressive press like this.
Yeah, probably pretty easy, 900 to 1,000 if it's rolling well.
Yeah, which is remarkable. And even a lock and load AP with no case feeder, no bullet feeder, and placing the case in by hand and placing a bullet, you'll still be able to do 300 to 500 an hour.
Easy.
By the time you get set up and you get comfortable with it. So those APs, the ammo plant and the AP press kit, 500 free bullets, and then kind of blurring the line between progressive and single stage, you have the iron press. Now, we had an engineer design this, no longer with the company, but a great guy nonetheless. Tyler, you probably took over some of that project. That iron press kit, it's the heaviest. It's obviously iron. It's got the huge loading window, the automatic primer feed. How does that fit into the single stage / progressive, kind of gray area?
Well, I mean, it gives you a new look. Like a lot of the classic, and then a lot of the older presses you see have that O frame, which is a very solid frame.
Sure.
But those are also made out of aluminum. This is made out of gray cast, which is giving you that weight, that durability, less flex in the frame.
Yep, rigid.
Yep, extremely rigid. It's also giving you that ambidextrous loading.
Oh, because the load window's open. So if you're left hand or right hand.
And the handle has both spots you can screw that into.
Exactly. And then some small things that the previous engineer put on there is that little shelf to slide your case into the shell holder, which is just kind of nice to where you're not trying to search for that shell holder.
It's not a fine motor skill with that tray out there. I find that you can just kind of blindly just slam a case in there and it just guides it right into the shell holder.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And with that, I mean, on that press, you can still find call it an accessory auto prime, where you're priming on press there and you're priming in your sizing process. I don't think it's on the get loaded, but it's a option that if you get the iron press on there, it's something that you can add on there.
Right. And that's where it really, for me, blurs the line between progressive and single stage. It's a dedicated single stage press, the most rigid press out there. But with that automatic priming feed feature, it feeds the primer. You can come up, deprime, resize, come right back down, and a primer's automatically fed. And man, when you're trying to resize and deprime a batch of brass, you can really walk through that stuff in a darn hurry.
Yeah, and that's something we were talking about even before this. Like, the one thing you can't make is time, and reloading takes time, and
yes, it does.
That saves you a lot of time by combining those steps right there.
Yep.
Yes.
And that press, like all our presses, has the lock and load bushing for the lock and load system. So another great feature.
Yeah, snap those dies in and out quick. And then we've got a few other tools here, but going back to the AP press, so what makes an ammo plant different than the AP press is they have the same press, the same progressive press. The ammo plant simply includes a pistol bullet feeder and a case feeder. Well,
Correct.
the pistol bullet feeder, the rifle bullet feeder, and the case feeder are available separately. So if you already have an AP, you can get a pistol bullet feeder or a rifle bullet feeder or your case feeder, bolt those onto your existing AP, and any of those 3 purchases will get you the 500 free bullets. Those are included as well. And the pistol bullet feeder, man, if you're into shooting handgun competitively, that is a game changer.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It
You
feeds
get
it.
that, you add the die that you need for the caliber of
Mhm.
bullet you want, and it feeds it great. Drops it right onto the case, sends it over, and
Next
seats it
station.
very well.
It just simply increases the fluidity of how fast you can load, and it removes one of those fine motor skills where you have to pick a bullet up by hand and set it in place by hand. This just
And
puts
try-
it right where it
Try
needs
not
to
to
be.
bump the case while you're doing it. So.
Yeah, right. And then the case feeder, the case feeder, kind of universal. It feeds, things, 9mm and 380s, and it'll feed 460 Smith & Wesson or 308 Winchester or whatever. You've got from small and large rifle and small and large pistol plates, and you can really feed them all.
Yep,
That's,
4
again,
plates.
one less thing. So moving on from the reloading presses, that'll get you the 500 free bullets still, is the powered case prep center. So this is our tower. I don't know why that wasn't included in the name, like the Hornady Lock and Load Power Tower or something like that.
I
'Cause
always
it's-
wanted to call it like a drill press. That's what it reminds me of. you know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
but like you mentioned with your Auto Charge Pro, Tyler, it's kind of got some vertically integrated
Yep.
design, so it takes up less footprint on the bench, but you get a trimmer, chamfer, deburr tools. It's got 6 different power heads on the top, so
Hmm.
you could ream primer pockets. Trim.
Made from cast aluminum, solid, heavy.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I mean the main feed mechanism on that is like a drill press, but you're getting the consistency. You're getting micro adjust, and you're also getting that same shell lock that we use on our other products, our other
Oh,
trimming
cam
products.
lock.
Bench
Yep, the
trimmer.
cam lock. Yep. So it's really a solid product, something that's going to make your reloading significantly easier and help your trimming process too.
For sure, and get you the 500 free bullets.
Yep.
And then we've got the Hot Tub Sonic Cleaner. Now, this is a 9-liter sonic cleaner, and I feel like with gas impingement firearms becoming way more popular, when the Brady Bill sunsetted, and then with suppressors getting so much, more prevalent, sonic cleaners have really seen a huge surge in the last decade because they do such a darn good job of getting in there and cleaning some of that stuff up that is normally hard to get to, like inside a suppressor or gas tubes and stuff like that. So this 9-liter hot tub is huge.
Yeah, I love that 9-liter hot tub. You can take a 16-inch AR upper and just suspend it right down in that hot tub. Move your 2 drawers back, lift the center door off, and just suspend it right down in there and clean the whole upper.
The whole upper. So
Yep. And what's left when you're done with the sonic cleaner could be wiped off with a Kleenex.
Yep.
It loosens up all of that well.
yeah, that's impressive. And again, you can, we have small parts buckets. You can clean small parts in there. You can, clean suppressors and stuff like that. And then how many 16-inch ARs are out there? I mean,
Yeah.
countless.
Yeah.
And how many of them get the mag dump, steady diet of that?
Yeah,
Pop the upper off,
for sure.
drop the whole thing in there, submerge it with the gun parts formula, and get rid of all of that dirty gas impingement soot.
Well, I
Yep.
tell you, you can cheat a little bit and do a little bit of both. You can have your case cleaner in there,
Mhm.
and I've got my cases in there working in the basket. And over here on this side, I've got a glass beaker with some sonic oiling up some parts, and I might have gun cleaner for small parts in this section because that sonic action works right through that.
Yep.
So I can have the cleaner around it with cleaners and beakers of different kinds. So there's
Wow.
just so much space to do what
Yeah.
you need it to do.
Versatile. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Big and powerful. And then I saved this one for last because this is one of my favorite ones as far as reloading tools go, because I thoroughly enjoy reloading most of the time. I mean, when I was a kid and when I was younger in my adult life, reloading very cathartic, and just I like to tinker around, and it was fun. Then as I got older and time became more of a problem and more of a concern, I hate trimming cases and I hate cleaning brass. It takes a long time, and I don't like to do it. Well, with this rotary case tumbler, these really became popular, I don't know, maybe half a decade ago, and ours is a great addition to the industry, using steel pin media. I'll tell you what, it takes cartridge case cleaning from 3 to 4 hours down to about 30 minutes. I really enjoy that. It's got a barrel. It'll hold 5 or 6 pounds of material. You got your steel pins. Throw in some water with a couple capfuls of one-shot brass cleaner formula. You dump in your brass. You let it spin for 30 minutes, and it comes out looking better than factory new.
Absolutely. I took some military surplus. For all of our listeners out there knows what military surplus comes like. It's gross. It's dirty, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I gave it an hour in there, and it come out lustering like new. Military surplus fired 308, 762, and 223.
Wow.
545. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was amazing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my favorite way. And then I get all the pins out and I toss them in the vibratory tumbler just as a dryer.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, you can use a case parted dryer too, but the tumbler's always running, so pitch it in there and
You got
dries it up.
clean, dry brass. And it's really great for like you said, the high volume stuff, or if you're shooting a gas gun and you get that soot that's almost impregnated into the brass.
Yeah.
It really cleans it up well. It's fast, and it just comes out so clean. Typically, in my reloading process, I will not deprime the case before I resize it, and I never resize dirty brass. So I usually go into my resizing process with already cleaned brass, kick out the primer. Well, with the steel pin media, I do find value in depriming the brass beforehand. With a media tumbler, it kind of gets the primer pocket, but not quite as good. These steel pins, you pop the primer out on a dirty piece of brass, and it gets every nook and cranny.
It gets it all clean inside and out.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
The Sonic Cleaner does a great job too, but there might still be a little carbon that has to be wiped out of that primer pocket. But the pins, it's removed. It looks new, honestly.
Yep. Today's episode is brought to you by Hornady Security Rapid Safes. Using patented RFID technology, you get the quickest, most dependable access to your firearm when you need it the most. Check out the full Rapid Safe line at HornadySecurity.com. Well, so we've got a little over 20 products here that, depending on the product, qualify for 100 or 500 free bullets. We're just asking you to cover the cost of shipping. On the 500 free bullets, the shipping is $20 unless you're in, again, Canada, Alaska, or Hawaii, which then it goes to $25, up to a $234 value in free bullets. Let's talk about what bullets you have a selection of. It's not the full Hornady product line, but we pulled them up here. What they've done is selected our most popular bullets for caliber in the most universal type bullet. So starting with 22 cal, you've got a 55 grain spire point with a cannler. If you're an AR shooter, or you're trying to use 22 cal on maybe an antelope hunt for a youngster or something like that, 55 grain spire point with that cannler, great option. Moving up to 6mm, 100 grain boat tail spire point, classic interlock bullet, knocked down countless whitetail
Can't tell
antelope.
you how many 6mm Remingtons have fired that bullet.
And that bullet will properly stabilize in a 1 in 10 twist, so they've selected kind of a bullet that's universal in the 6mm world.
Mm-hmm.
Going to 6.5, you got the 129 grain spire point, again, classic interlock. The 7mm, a 139 boat tail spire point. So you get the boat tail on the 7mm, and they opted for the 139 version because whether you're shooting a 7 mag or a 7mm 08 or a 730 Waters, you're going to get decent velocity out of that bullet weight. And then going up to 30 cal, the bullet that started the company,
the
150 grain.
Yep,
the old interlock
30
spire
caliber.
point. One of the most popular bullets that we still make, and that strikes me as odd. We've got ELDX, ELD Match, A-Tip. We've got some amazing bullets in that 150 grain. Still an amazing bullet.
Yeah, and that 30 caliber 150 grain, a little side story. I can go in my 300 Winchester mag. It's an old Model 70. I can use all the new bullets, the ELD matches with the boat tails. This flat base bullet still groups better out of my gun than all of the others. Isn't that amazing?
And it'll flatten every Nebraska whitetail that's ever
Everything
walked.
I've ever needed.
Yep.
That's right. I've never lost one with that rifle.
And it
Beautiful.
just works. I mean,
It
one of those
does,
things,
it
if
does.
if it ain't broke,
Don't fix it.
yeah.
Exactly.
And from a manufacturing side that you're on now, Tyler, doing the bullet engineering, that's a bullet. When you set it up and the operator gets that machine dialed in, hits the go buttons, it will just run until you shut it off.
Yeah.
Or you run it out of lead or cups.
We're the best at it. It's been made since
1949.
Yeah, since we started. The
Well,
one that
probably
started it
before
up.
1949 when you think about it, because, yeah, I mean,
He had to do the testing and
yeah,
everything. You get it
Vernon
built.
Spear and Joyce Hornady were making bullets before it was a official company.
Exactly.
So, and then moving over to the pistol side of bullets. And this one is where I see a ton of value when you're looking at doing the high volume stuff. 9mm, we've got a 115 grain XTP, and a 10mm, a 155 XTP. So you get a bullet that is wicked accurate. Our pistol bullets, our XTPs, are known for accuracy in the competitive world. They're a true cup and core wedged bullet. So we make them just like you guys make a rifle bullet.
Absolutely.
And I think there's a lot of accuracy to be had in that design and that manufacturing methodology. You know, you start out with a cup, and in one smooth pass, it will go from cup to finished product, never comes off the machine. And I think holding concentricity is just easier that way.
Not to mention the XTP, that bullet is tested for extreme terminal performance.
That's the name.
It's serrated that way so that it opens up like it should.
Mm-hmm. So you could use these for hunting if that were to be your
If you have a
application.
9mm, right? It's probably better in the 10mm range, but yes.
But again, a great option. Now, to really pick up some value, we talked about the bullets. You get 500 free bullets with these products and 100 free bullets with these products. I'm not aware of any limitations to if you want to buy 10 of these products. If you want to buy 10 products that gives you the 500 free bullets, you just keep sending in the redemption forms,
That's
and we'll
right.
keep sending you bullets.
Yep. And I think
Yeah.
you need your receipt
Mhm.
and the UPC.
Yep.
Off the box.
Yep.
That's it.
That is it.
Check for the amount of shipping and we'll ship them.
Yeah.
You could get yourself a classic kit and then load yourself up on the Auto Charge Pro and the other accessories that we offer. there.
dies?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
let's not forget one of the other bullets that you can choose from. I think it's the last one. It's a 10mm. What is it? 155
55.
grain XTP. I don't know if we talked about that.
Yeah.
Maybe we did, and I
Just
totally spaced
Mentioned it briefly, but
Yeah, that's another bullet that's
yeah.
available.
great bullet for 40 Smith & Wesson.
40 S&W.
Yeah,
That's what
10
I like to
millimeter.
shoot.
Yep, I'm more of a 9mm fan myself, especially with bullet technology where it's at. I always stole a saying from our lead ballistics lab tech, Matt George, and he said, "Oh, the 40 Smith & Wesson, it's got the terminal performance of a 9mm and the recoil of a 45. What's not to love?"
Yeah, but then you look at the size of my hand, Seth, versus
That's true.
the size of your hand,
Yeah.
Seth.
Big difference. But if, for a new reloader, this is the time to get into it.
Yeah.
The presses, the dies, the the auxiliary equipment that you're going to need on your bench. You could end up with hundreds or thousands
Yeah.
of free bullets just by purchasing the tools that you're already going to need.
And for the seasoned reloaders that have always thought about upgrading, or I need to add that to my arsenal of
Yeah.
reloading equipment, this is the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you start looking at your stores for the prices of these things and just keep in the head, if it's a 500 free bullets, I can subtract, what'd you say, $234 from it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that adds up. It really does. It kind of gets you the motivation to do it and load those bullets up and go have fun at the range.
Absolutely. And that's what it's all about. Reloading. Steve Hornady has said this many times over, but we sell fun. We've got a personal defense and a law enforcement military side of the things, and that's obviously not fun, and we're not taking that lightly. But by and large, shooting, reloading, it's fun. Hunting is fun. Target shooting is fun. Taking your family out to the range and banging on some steel, that's fun.
Yes, it is.
And we sell fun, and a lot of this stuff, it's meant to be fun, so enjoy it.
Sure.
So
Sure.
we talked about the Get Loaded promotion. We did it for a long time, many years, widely popular. And then we kind of went away from it. We had to get caught up. Things were getting crazy. Well, it's back, and I don't know how long it's going to be back for. I know for a fact it will be around until at least December 31st of 2023. So for the listener out there, I can guarantee you from the time you hear this until December 31st of 2023, we will honor your get loaded purchases and promotion. However, after that, maybe it'll get extended, maybe it won't. I don't know. I'm not on the sales side of things, but if you're hearing this now and it's within that window, definitely something to take advantage of.
Well, and we're fairly unique because there's not a lot of other tool manufacturing companies, reloading tool manufacturing companies that also manufacture the bullets.
That's true.
So fairly unique that you're getting them all at a one-stop shop.
You can have
Awesome.
a bench full of red.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what
That's
we're
right.
all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, getting the reloading red zone.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, with that, guys, we don't want to make this any longer than it needs to be. Thanks for walking through the Get Loaded promotion with me. Now, the last change of gears, shot out of a cannon. I already know Ben's answer, I think. So I'm going to give it to him first and give Tyler a little bit to think on this. We've asked every guest on our podcast starting a few months ago. Gosh, yep. If you had to choose one bullet and one cartridge to shoot for the rest of your life, unlimited guns, unlimited bullets, unlimited ammo, but it had to be one cartridge and one bullet, Ben, what are you picking? Hypothetically, of course.
Well, I'm a tried and true. I guess you'd say I'm an old fart, for less better terms, but 150 grain Spire Point 30 caliber out of my 300 Winchester mag.
I knew it was coming. And what a great answer, though. And that's the cool part of this question. There is no right answer. And it just kind of gives you a peek into the individual, you know. And 300 Win Mag, 150 grain bullet, you want to go elk hunting, you want to go deer hunting.
Doesn't matter.
You want to do a
on this
reduced
continent.
load.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do it. It's. I've got a lot of others. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I've got a 6 Creedmoor that shoots lights out. I got a 6.5 Grendel, 450 Bushmaster. I have Wildcats, 338-06. I could go on with the numbers if I had, but if you ask me that question, probably 10 years from now, I'm probably going to say the same thing. Or you ask me which is my favorite gun, I'm probably going to hand you that 300 Win Mag loaded with 150 grain Spire.
It's got some history. And Tyler, I'm going to give you a little bit longer to think because this is kind of tangential but related. You've got that 300 Win Mag, and tell the listening base who hasn't listened to your previous podcasts the brief history of that gun, because if I'm not mistaken, it's been around.
Yeah, it's been around. My father had that rifle, gave it to me. I killed my first deer with it. I had never fired it. Back then, you're wasting lead, son. You're wasting lead. Well, now I work here, so I can. He said, here's the one you're going to use. Here's your tag. Go hunting. Went out there, killed the first deer. Recoil wasn't a thing at 12 years old when I fired that thing. Didn't even know until when I was 15 and bought some of my own ammo and went out and shot 60 rounds. Ow.
Yeah.
You know, I felt that. But it's tried and true. As I learned to reload through my life, I started applying some of the things. One of the funny stories about that particular rifle is that I tried to seat the bullets out to the lands. Like, that was kind of a new thing. Before, you just went to a load length in a book, put it in your rifle.
Yeah.
Well, I want to take it next level. So I got the classic tool, screwed my modified case on there, slid my bullet in the end, stuck it in the chamber, slid it forward, pulled it out. No bullet. What's going on here? I did it several times until I realized that the throat on that rifle is fired so far out the bullet won't be in the case when it touches the lands. But that bullet is minute a deer. That rifle is minute a deer.
And Model 70?
The Model 70.
Yep.
I don't want to change the history, the scratches, the dings, the bluing that's missing in certain spots by putting a new barrel on it.
Absolutely.
So minute a deer is all I need because that's what I use it for.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, looking at you. One cartridge, one bullet for the rest of your life. Unlimited guns. You have all the guns you want in different weights and barrel lengths and whatever, and ammo is not a concern. But cartridge and bullet, what are you picking here?
So I've actually had time to think about this because I am an avid listener. So 175 grain ELDX out of a 7 PRC.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. We're
Yep.
boys
New
of the
one,
same
new
heart here.
one.
Yeah, new age.
I haven't even built one of those yet, but I think I want to.
Yeah.
I think
The-
that's the better of the mag
Yeah.
and everything.
The way I saw it hit my elk this year had me sold.
Yep. Well, I think it's a flash in the pan. I don't think it's going to stick around. I'm just kidding.
That's what they said about the 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah. Well, Tyler, for the listener, just to get a little bit more backstory, you're a Nebraska native. However, you grew up in closer to the cool part of the state rather than here in the center. So, out in your neck of the woods, there's elk and mule deer and whitetail and antelope, and the bighorn sheep don't live too terribly far away. So, being in the western part of the state, longer shots a little bit more common. 7 PRC just makes sense.
Yeah, and don't forget about the wind out there either.
I mean, yeah, Nebraska doesn't have very much wind.
No.
Yeah, it's all headed to Iowa.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
No, it basically fits perfect for everything that you want to shoot, at least in North America.
Yeah. Well, tell us real quick about the elk hunt and what the performance looked like from your selection here.
So I think I was 350, 360, and basically hammered the elk.
350-inch bull or 360-inch bull?
No,
Oh.
no, smaller than that.
Okay.
But
Legal bull.
It was a legal bull. It was branch antlered bull, and was able to get that close to it and dialed my scope, set it right behind the shoulder, a little bit lower third.
Yeah.
I'm archery hunter, so I'd like to shoot lower third on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Drilled him. He went 30 yards and piled over. It really wasn't much of a story after I
Very-
made the first shot.
Very anticlimactic because some
Yeah.
elk hunts you hear people, I pumped him full of lead. He spun around. I hit him again. He walked
Yeah.
10 yards. I hit him
No.
again and again and again. And they're a tough animal. And not to say the 7 PRC is the, some sort of lightning rod or anything, but the appropriate bullet at a good velocity in the right location, man,
Yeah.
it just works.
Yep. There was no point where I didn't think he was going down. It was right after it hit him, you knew what was going on.
Love it.
Yeah, and that ELDX bullet is phenomenal terminal performances in those velocities, and it truly is a bullet you could probably win a match with.
You certainly can.
We poured everything that we knew about terminal performance and match shooting into the same bullet. So
Beautiful.
I get it why you like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's probably the best answer I've ever heard on the show, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, with that, guys, if there's anything else, as far as reloading tools go, that you want to let our listeners know?
Not off the top of my head, but do consider Get Loaded. Many of you might have just made a purchase of something, not even realize the Get Loaded promotion exists.
Yeah.
If your die set has the little yellow sticker on there, you can probably redeem that if you're the original purchaser and still have your receipt. So take advantage of that. It's on for this year, 2023. So take advantage of that extra $200 or $50, whatever you happen to purchase.
Awesome. Tyler, anything else?
No, I think Ben pretty much covered it all. If you get those kits, make sure you read the first pages of the reloading manual. And
Yeah, it comes from an
great way to
engineer.
learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Read the manual. Yeah,
Well, and everybody says, how do I get started reloading? I don't know where to start. Start with that manual.
absolutely.
The first 100 or so
Yep.
pages, again, gets you started. It talks about internal, external ballistics. It talks about the reloading process and kind of what you're doing and what's going on, and it'll really bring light to what it is if you're brand new
Yeah.
to the reloading world.
Yep.
Right on. Sage advice. Well, guys, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, hopefully you enjoyed this discussion about Get Loaded, and now's the time. I can guarantee you it'll be going on until December 31st of 2023. No better time to stock your reloading benches. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, if you've got concerns, send us an email, podcast@hornady.com. Or if you're watching this, drop a comment right here on YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. We'll catch you on the next one.